Welcome guys. In this video, we will be creating Apple website using only HTML. As you can see on my screen, this is the website that we will be creating using only HTML. So let's get started. Let's first open Visual Studio Code. Now I'm using Visual Studio Code for HTML code. You can use Notepad and any other tool for HTML. So first open the folder. Now go to desktop. Here I will create a new folder. Let's give it a name, Apple website. Now select this folder. Now you can see that we have created the Apple website folder. Inside we have to create a HTML file. Let's give it a name, web.html. So it will create a HTML file. Now if you want to learn Visual Studio Code, I have already created a video on Visual Studio Code. Link will be in the description. Now let's start HTML code. Before starting HTML code, let's paste the assets that I have already copied. Open the Apple website folder. And here I will paste the asset that I have copied earlier. Now this is the Apple icon SVG file. This is the Facebook icon in SVG file. This is Instagram icon. This is Twitter and YouTube. This is the web file, HTML file that we have just created. And these are images that I will be using in this website. Now let's start HTML code. Now go to Visual Studio Code. And here in web.html file, let's start the HTML code. So let's write HTML, opening and closing tag. Inside this we will write head tag, opening and closing. And first we have to give icon to the website. So let's write link. And href means the location which is beside the web.html file. So we will simply write apple.svg. Now let's close this link tag. Now after that we will write title, which will be the title of the website. Now our head tag is completed. Now let's create a body tag. Now inside the body we will give the background color of the whole website. So let's give BG color, which is white. Now let's close this. Now inside this we will be first creating the table for the menu. So let's write table. Let's give it a border 0. Width will be 13. 100 px. Let's give it a height. Height will be 50 because it is the menu. And alignment is the center. Also let's give it a BG color, background color. Which is the hex code. Now let's close this. Now inside this we will be creating row. Its height will be 30. And alignment will be center. Now let's close this. Now inside this row we will be creating column which will be each element of the menu. So let's create first column, which will be the app icon. So let's write TD. Width will be 30. Let's close this. So inside this we will be using image for Apple icon. So the source will be apple.svg. Width and height will be 20. Now let's close this. Now let's create another column. For this, let's copy this and paste it here and remove this image. Beside image, we will be writing the link tag, which is A, and the location is web.html. Now let's close this. Now here we will be using P for paragraph. Width will be 30. Also height will be 30. And we will be writing text, which is iPhone. Now we have to create like 3 to 4 columns like this. So let's copy this and paste it 4 times. Now let's change this text to iMac. The third one to iWatch. The fourth one to iFitness. And the last one to iPad. Now we are done with the first table. Now let's check this website. So click on the Ctrl S, go to terminal and click on the run active file. Now as you can see that we have successfully created the menu, but I don't know why the icon is not loaded. Let's check the code. It is SRC. So here was the error. Now let's save it again and run the active file. Now you can see that error is gone. Now let's create the second table, which will include the iPhone. So let's create table. Border will be 0. Width will be 1080 and height will be 500. Align center. And let's close this. Now inside this table we will be creating one row, and inside the row there will be one column. So let's create tr, and height will be 200. Width will be 1300. Row span will be 8. And background color will be FBFBFD. Let's give it a padding bottom, which is 50. Now let's close this. Now inside this, let's create a column. The column width will be 1300 call span, which is 9, and align center. Close this, and inside this we will be creating heading H1. The heading will be aligned center. Now here we will be using big tag to make it bigger. So let's write big. Now inside this, let's write the text, which is iPhone. Let me go to the view and toggle word wrap so you can see it inside the screen. Now let's write another heading, which is H2. Let's close this, and inside this let's write blast, past, fast. Now after H2 let's write a paragraph, which is for 29.5 per month for 24 months. Buy direct from Apple Store. Now let's create another paragraph, which will be the link. Let's make it bold. Also it will be the link, so let's write A and let's give it a location here, and it will go to the web.html, means the home page, and the text is learn more. Now after this paragraph we will be using image, so let's write image and src, the location, which is iPhone.svg, sorry, iPhone.png. Now let's close the image tag, and we are done with the another table. Now let's save it and see the results. Run active file, and you can see that we have created another section. Now let's move on to the third section. But before going to another section, let's give it a space between two sections. So for this we will be creating a table, empty table. Let's give it a border 0 and width will be 1300, height will be 20, and alignment will be center. Also let's give it a background color, will be white. Now let's close this. Inside this let's create an empty row with an empty column. Now we have given the space. Now let's create another table. So also we will be using div. So when we click on the menu button, it will move to this section. And also let's give it a ID, which is iPhone 12. Now inside this div we will be creating a table. Border will be 0. Width is equal to 1080. Height will be 500. Align center. Now let's close this. Inside this, let's create a row tr and give it a background color by using bg color, and which will be black. So let's give it a hex code black. Now let's create a column. The column width will be 1300. Align center. Now inside this column we will be using image. And location is iPhone 12 text. Also let's write a paragraph and let's make it a bold, and which is also the link. So let's write a, and location will be again home page, which is web.html. Let's close this, and the text is learn more. Now after this paragraph, let's give image, and the location of image is iPhone 2.svg. Now let's close this, and we are now also done with the third section. Now let's move on to the fourth one. Now again we have to give the space. So for space, let's copy this empty table and paste it here. Now in the fourth section, we will be creating a table with 2 columns. So let's first write table. Border will be 0. Width is 1080. Height is 500. And alignment is center. Now let's close this and let's write div. We will be giving div to each column. So let's write div. Close this. Let's give an ID to div, which is iMac. Now inside this div, we will be creating a row. Now we will be giving a background color, which will be creamy color. So let's say FA, 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 and close this. Now let's create column, which width will be 650 and alignment will be center. Let's close this and let's create a H1 heading, which is align center. Now let's close this. Now again we cannot customize the font size of any text in HTML. For this we use CSS, but this is for only HTML. So here we will be writing a big tag 3 times, so it will make the text bigger. So let's write big and let's close this. Again big and close this, and again. So now we have created 3 times big, and inside this we will write the text which is iMac. Now after h1 tag we will write h2, and in h2 it will say hello. Now after h2 tag we will be creating a paragraph which will be bold, and also it will be a link. So in a opening tag, let's give it a location which will be again home page because we don't have another page. So let's write web.html, and the text is learn more. Now after this paragraph we will give image. Its location is iMac.png. Let's close this image tag. And now we are done with the first column of fourth section. Now we have to create another column in this. So let's write td. Its width will be 650, same as the above one. Alignment will be center, and background color will be black. Now let's close this. Now inside this we will be using image, so let's give it image. Image location, let's close this first. Now image location is src, which is iWatch. And after the image tag, let's create a paragraph, and it will be bold, and also it will be linked. So write a and ref, which will be again web.html. Let's close this, and inside this we will write again learn more. Now after ending tag of paragraph we will use image. Now image location is iWatch.png. Let's close this and now save it. Now let's test our website. So I have saved it, and let's go to run active file. Now you can see it's the first section. Here's the second section, and it is not loading the image. It is the fourth section with this is the first column, and then this is the second column. Now let's check this, why this is not loading the image. Now go to the code. So we have used the SVG, but it is the PNG file. Now let's save it again, and let's refresh our website, and you can see that image is loaded. Now we have to create this section again with iFitness and iPad. Now let's copy this space and paste it here. Now let's create table. Its border is 0. Width will be 1080, and height is 500. Also align center. Let's close this. Now inside this, let's create a row, and let's give it a BG color. Which is half white, so which is FA. Now let's close this. Inside this we will be creating 2 columns. Now let's give it a div for first column, and its ID is fitness. Now let's create the first column. Its width will be 550. And align center. Let's close this, and now inside this we will be using h1 tag for heading, and its alignment is center. Also again we will be using big tag 3 times, so make it bigger, and the reason is because HTML doesn't support. Now also let's make it bold, and the text is iFitness. Also let's give it a plus. Now let's write h2 tag, and the text is the first fitness service provided by Apple Watch. Also after closing tag of h2, let's write p paragraph tag. It is bold, and also it is a link. So let's close this, and inside the opening tag of a, let's give it a location which is again homepage web.html, and the text is learn more. Now after the ending tag of paragraph, let's give it an image, and location is iFitness. Now let's close the image tag. Now this column and the second column is the same, so let's copy this to save our time and paste it again. Now here we will do some changes. Let's change the ID to iPad. Let's change this text to iPad. Also, let's give it get AirPods free. This text is by Mac or iPad. And also let's change this image, which is ipad.png. Now let's save it. Now let's run our website and let's see the changes. Now you can see that these are the links. This is the second section. This is the third section. This is the fourth section. And this is the fifth section. Now let's change this background to match this one. So for this, let's go to the TD means column and let's give it a background color. So let's write hash. Let's write C8E6E4. Now let's save it. Let's refresh our website and you can see that background is changed. Now the last thing is to create a footer. So let's create a footer. For this, first let's give it a space. So let's copy this empty table again. And after this, let's create a footer. So for this, we will be creating a table. Now border will be 0, width which is 1300, height is 30, and align center. Let's give it a background color which is FA. And now let's close this table, and inside this table let's create row, and let's create columns. Now inside this we will be creating paragraph, alignment which is center, let's make this text bold, and the text is apple. Now let's copy this tag and paste it 3 times. Let's change this text to abc@gmail.com. Here you can replace your Gmail. Now here you can use your phone number, and here you can use your address. So means name of company, name of street, city, area, and country. Now the second last thing is to create social media links. So for this we will be using pre. Now pre tag is the tag where we can use space and it will work as many times as we want. But if we give space in paragraphs, it will only work once. So we use pre tag to give as many spaces as we want. So let's give it alignment center. Width will be 40. Now let's close this. Now inside this, any spaces will be used. Now if I give this space, it will be used. So let's give it 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's write link, which is href, and the link is https www.twitter.com/courses with mask, and the title will be Twitter. Now let's close this, and inside this we will be using image, which I have already added as I showed you in the beginning in SVG files. So src is equal to, which is twitter.svg. Now let's close this image file, but first let's give width to this image, which will be 40, and height will be also 40. Now we are done with the Twitter. Now let's move on to the Facebook. For this, let's give it again 4 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and I will copy this and paste it here. Now again 4 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and paste it again. Now again 4 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, and paste it again. Now let's change the text. So this is the Facebook. Let's change it to Facebook. And let's change this to Facebook. Also this to Facebook. Now let's move on to this one, which will be YouTube. Let's change this link. Title will be YouTube. Image will be YouTube. Now the last one is Instagram. Title will be Instagram. And the file will be instagram.svg. Now the last thing is to create a copyright text. So let's create a paragraph. Align center. Now inside this, let's use emoji. "2021 Apple." Now you can see that we have successfully completed the code. Now let's run our website and see the results. So go to terminal and click on the run active file. Now you can see that this is the first section, this is the second one, this is the third one, this is the fourth, this is the fifth, and this is the last section. And you can see that these links will work when it is connected to internet. But let's run it again, and I think I have seen the error. Like you can see that when we click on these links, it doesn't go to the part that we want. So let's check this. We have given the IDs. Now here you can see that these are web.html. Now let's change this to the IDs that we have given below. As you can see that iPhone 12, iMac. So let's change these. So let's change this. Use hash iPhone 12. Second one to hash iMac. Third one to hash iWatch. Hash iFitness. And the last one to hash iPad. Now let's save it. Now let's run our active file. So run active file, and now let's click on the iPhone, and you can see that it goes here. iMac, and you can see that it will come here. So by this way we can create Apple website. That's it for today. Today we have created the Apple website using only HTML. In the next video, I will be customizing it using HTML plus CSS. So we will be making it much better than Apple website. If you are new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe, and see you in the next video.